Radio show with agricultural news, information, interviews, in-depth weather, and more. It's Terry Henne and his farm show on 100.5 and 790 News Radio WSGW and online WSGW.com.
A partly cloudy good morning to you. I hope your day is going well for you, wherever you might be. Terry Henne here at Radio Center, along with Matthew Lester, looking outside and seeing some sun here at Radio Center. Many of you looking at mostly cloudy skies. That's the way we started it off. And for the most part, that's what we're going to be looking at as we go through the remainder of the day. Plenty of clouds and maybe a little bit of sunshine here and there, possibly a little bit of a drizzle. Just one of those days where we're going to get a little bit of everything as we go through the day today. And tonight, for the most part, more of the same, maybe a spotty drizzle or two, and that's going to be about it. Started the morning off, as I said, with plenty of clouds. Some light rain that kicked in, I want to say it was about 2:30, 3 o'clock this morning here in the Great Lakes Bay area. And temperatures really holding up, very mild for this time of the year. We should be overnight at 47. And once again, we were flirting with that upper 50 and lower 60 degree range. And by the time the day is all done, we'll be moving up into that middle 70 degree area. Matthew, what do you have on the thermometer right now?
Currently, over at the airport, it's cloudy at 71. Over in Midland, it's cloudy at 70. Here, Radio Center, it's cloudy at 71. We have east winds at 9 miles per hour, and our pressure's at 29.94, and it's falling.
Low pressure system located over eastern Tennessee. That's the reason why we're getting what we're getting, because it's kind of a push up of moisture-laden air, a little bit heavier on the humidity side. As Matthew said, we're looking at humidity levels of right around 70 to 75%. And that's the way the low is going to pretty much sit over eastern Tennessee, maybe drift back a little bit to the west over the next 24 to 36 hours. And eventually what's going to happen is it's just simply going to break down. The reason why is there's another low pressure system that will be moving into the central part of the continental United States. It'll take the energy over, and then that low is going to move up into Minnesota, eventually up into southern Canada. And then late Thursday night, early Friday morning, that low is going to push a front through. It doesn't look like that front is going to have much in the way of severe weather. Some forecasters are thinking that it could, but it does appear as though that front is going to be moving through, and the heaviest amount of possible precipitation is going to be moving through late Thursday night and early Friday morning, which means the weather overall is not going to be conducive. The time of the day or night is not going to be conducive to the development of any severe weather. So I think we could get a shower. Matter of fact, that's going to be the best chance of seeing an overall shower in the state of Michigan that we will have coming up to it. Because over the next 3 days, it's going to be intermittent. It's going to be isolated, widely scattered, and very little moisture associated with anything that does move through the Great Lakes Bay region, and for that part, the southern 2/3 of the lower peninsula. Now, we did see a couple of reporting stations further south, down around the 69 corridor and just to the immediate south of that, where they did have rainfall amounts so far of 0.15 of an inch, 0.12 of an inch, 0.16 of an inch. But by and large, the majority of the precipitation that we did see so far has been less than 0.1 of an inch. So clouds, on again, off again, sun, on again, off again, sprinkles as we go through the remainder of the day. We'll get up to about 76 for a high. Hot spot in the state right now is on the west side of the Upper Peninsula. Once again, Houghton is looking at 77, Ironwood at 76. Copper Harbor right now is at 75, and Iron Mountain is at 72. Munising is at 75. Sawyer Gwinn Air Force Base is at 73. Then you get a little bit further to the east, Newberry, they're looking at 73 degrees, so very close to what we are here As far as west side of the lower peninsula, warmer temperatures there. Harbor Springs at 74, Frankfurt at 73. Pellston is coming in at 73 degrees. Grayling is looking at 72, and Bel Air is looking at 72 right now. More of the same as far as weather conditions go and chances of moisture tonight. A low of 60. Sun will set this evening at 8:53. Rise tomorrow morning at 6:12. Tomorrow, clouds, sun, on again, off again, sprinkles, kind of a carbon copy tomorrow of what we're seeing so far today. 74 degrees, so pretty close to what our high temperature is going to be today. That will be the temperature for tomorrow. 59 is what we're going to look at for a low tomorrow night. There is going to be a chance of seeing some thunderstorms develop tomorrow. Once again, it's going to be very spotty, very isolated. You could, if a thunderstorm does pop up, you could pick up a quick half inch of rain. But right now, the chances of that are not good. And again, if there is going to be any opportunity for a thunderstorm, it is going to be very spotty and isolated. Now, Thursday, we're going to warm up. We're looking for a high, once again, pushing 80 degrees. I think we'll hit about 81, 82. A mix of clouds and sun. But the best chance of any rain shower activity on Thursday is going to be overnight, on Thursday night and early Friday morning. For the reason that I told you, there is going to be a front, a low-pressure system over southern Minnesota that's going to be moving up into Canada, and it will push a cold front through late Thursday night and early Friday morning. But the chances of precipitation on Friday are going to diminish rather rapidly. We're going to be looking at more in the way of sun on Friday. Because of that, our temperature on Friday will be 80 degrees. So we've got 76 today, 74 tomorrow, 81 on Thursday, 80 on Friday. Then after that front finally moves through and the low pressure system up in Canada begins to do its work, we're going to be looking at a chance of a widely scattered shower on Friday night. That'll lower our temperatures. We're going to be looking at the middle 50s for a low on Friday night. Upper 60s, around 68, 69, which is average for this time of the year on Saturday. There will be a chance of a shower around, especially in the morning hours on Saturday. But the coverage area on that is not going to be really good either. Sunday, middle 60s for a high, partly cloudy skies. Monday, beginning of the work week next week, upper 60s for a high with partly cloudy skies. Now, long range, they'll take us through the 26th of the month, so we're pushing into the Memorial Day holiday. Our temperatures are going to be in that upper 60-degree range, maybe possibly 70, which would be below normal for this time of the year. Precipitation pattern is going to be a little bit above, so we'll call it that, above average. Record high on this date on the 13th of April or May is 77 or 88, I should say. That was set in 1977 and tied just 3 years ago in 2022. The record low on this date is 26, and that was set way back in 1946. As far as the coldest ever, 13th of May, 44 was our high, 36 was our low in the calendar year of 1984. The wettest, warmest ever, you got to go back to 1991 to see that. And incidentally, we did have a trace of snow on the 13th of April, and that was just 12 years ago, 2013. More on the weather as we go through the broadcast. Standing by, Matthew, who do we have?
Up next, we have Abby Terwilliger from the Andersons, and we also have Doug Klein from Oppenheimer.
Well, before we get to them, we want to remind you the weather forecast brought to you by the folks at Nutrien Ag Solutions.
Nutrien Ag Solutions has the local expertise to recommend the corn, soybean, and other seed products that are the best fit for your field. Plus, unparalleled agronomic support with products and services to unlock yield potential and improve crop performance from planting to harvest. Ask about our financing options to help you get more from every acre and lead the field. Visit your local Nutrien Ag Solutions branch or go to nutrienagsolutions.com.
They say there's a secret to growing a great crop. At Nutrien Ag Solutions, they beg to differ. It all starts with a strong foundation, and when it comes to fertilizer, there's no question that Titan XE drives dry fertilizer performance. They've been unlocking the potential in every prill of dry fertilizer with biocatalyst technology for over a decade. Visit lpi.ag/Titan or contact your Nutrient Ag Solutions crop consultant to drive your crop's potential today. Farm Service brought to you today by the folks at Weiss Equipment in Frankenmuth. We're talking about those farm-all tractors. We continue to talk about them because they've been selling. They've been selling like hotcakes. And the reason why? Because right now, people are taking advantage of the special savings that you're getting on those farm-all tractors, anywhere from the value-packed compact farm-all A all the way up to the deluxe compact farm-all C and C series with cabs. So what's the deal? Well, if you're paying cash, you get a cash discount. Special financing, 0% interest up to 72 months. Remember, the farm-all tractors, they're designed to do the job, whatever the job might be. So all you got to do is pick out anything from 35 to 140 horsepower, check them out, see how they work, how they operate, and then have one delivered to your farm, your home, wherever you've got work that has to be done. Because the farm-all tractor is a real work animal. See them today. Weiss Equipment in Frankenmuth, doing it right longer. Say good morning to Abby Terwilliger over at the Andersons. Abby, how are you today?
Doing better than the markets are.
Boy, I guess. Well, it looks like those boys in Chicago took a look at the crop progress all across the country, and it kind of scared them a little.
Yeah, I think, we got a little bit of up from the report yesterday at noon, the WASD, and then the crop progress came out saying, hey, we're getting everything in the ground faster than usual. And they said, nope, no more green for you. Let's make it red.
Well, I was looking at some of the completed so far. The wheat heading category in the major wheat growing areas. I know they've had some really dry weather there. But the crop progress report was showing that they're right on the 5-year average when it comes to the development of wheat in some of the major areas like Kansas.
Yeah, that doesn't give the market much to rally over if it's if they're saying drought, but yet everything's still going according to plan.
Well, yeah, and I'm looking at some of this corn planted all across the country. North Carolina, where you would expect it, they're about 86%. First part of May, they were at 73%. They were running right along. Their 5-year average is a little bit lower, or a little bit higher at 92%. But so they're a little bit lower than that. But overall, Wisconsin, they're looking at 44% of the corn planted. Their 5-year average is 40%. So you go right up and down practically every state. And you're looking at corn acreage in the ground. Soy's the same thing. 5-year average. The last 2 years are kind of extraordinary, wouldn't you say? I mean, a lot of crop got in quite a bit earlier.
Yeah, I mean, looking at just even Michigan this year compared to last year for the report yesterday, we're at 42% planted for corn. And last year we were only at 25. So we're almost 20% further than we were last year. But the weather was dry enough and early enough that we were able to get a good jump on it.
Yeah. And you look at the 5-year average, we're chugging along pretty good.
Yeah. I mean, we're 11% ahead on corn and for soybeans, we're only 1% behind. So we're average or ahead. So it's going pretty well so far, I'd say.
Yeah, and Kevin Messing said yesterday he figured about 99% of the sugar beets were in. This report says 100%, so we're not really arguing it. They're pretty much all in except for the replants, and I guess there's a bunch of that going in right now. I'm seeing some rotary hose out. It looks like on corn. Have you seen any of that around where you are?
I have not seen any of that.
Yeah, they're some of the earlier cornfields. I'm looking at rotary hose going, and of course, yesterday there was a lot of dirt flying, a lot of dust.
Oh yes, there was. I know on my way home I counted 4 or 5 different tractors on a 7-mile stretch home. So people are out moving. They're taking advantage of this weather before more rain shows up. We had a little sprinkle this morning here on my way into Hemlock, but doesn't seem to have stopped too many people.
No, and it really didn't knock the dust down either.
No.
Not at all. So, are you ready to give us that? Well, I'll just call it the news.
Let me put my shield up so I don't get tomatoes thrown at me. Yeah, so old crop corn and Hemlock right now, 405, new crop 376, old crop soybeans 1037, new crop 981, and for this summer, red wheat 452 and white wheat 492.
So trending pretty much negative. We do have a couple of greens out there, but that's it.
Yep. Yeah, like soybeans right now, old crops down 6, new crops down 4. Corn, old crops down 7, new crops down 3. Wheat's up 2. So.
Well, there'll be another day.
Oh yeah, always is.
I hope. Abby, we got
bigger problems in the markets if we don't wake up tomorrow. So.
Oh yeah, you got that right. Talk to you again. You take care. All right.
You too. Bye.
Abby Twilliger over at the Andersons. A little bit more in depth. Doug Klein from Oppenheimer joining us. The Market Report brought to you by Ed Raymonds. Quality clothing and shoes since 1919. You're talking Carhartts. You're talking Red Wing shoes and boots. You're talking Stormy Cromer accessories. Anything and everything that you need clothing-wise, work clothes, the shoes, the whole works, and dress shoes, dress slacks. They've got the shirts. It's all there. 151 West Broad Street in Chesaning. They're open 7 days. Check them out online for more information at edraymond's.com. And by the folks at Steiner Tractor. You know, they understand how your life and job both stop if that tractor stops running. They do take that job personally at Steiner Tractor Parts. That's why you can rely on them to get the work done that you need to get that part in your hands so that tractor will run. 800-234-3280 or go to steinertractor.com. Doug Klein, good morning.
Well, good morning.
What are we looking at now?
Well, the annual inflation rate came in at 2.3. That's the lowest in 4 years. I guess that's a good thing. So what's going on? The food stocks are not having a good day. General Mills hit a new low. Pepsi hit a new low. Campbell's Soup hit a new low. Nobody's doing really good in that business. United Health is getting buried today. They lost a CEO. He resigned, the new guy, right? Better than dying. So he's out. The stock is down 60-some bucks. You know, it's a new low for the multi-year. So the Dow 30 are down 114 points, but 367 points of that is United Health. And then Travelers is getting hit a little bit, and the other insurance company getting hit a little bit. So that's why the Dow is down 100, but the S&P is up 50. So 9/10% on the S&P up. The Nasdaq is up 1.6%. So the momentum carries over from yesterday, pretty decent in the stock market. Of course, we're in Saudi Arabia negotiating, so crude oil's up $1.34. Precious metals are all up 1.5%. That's what's going on. And grains, of course, not doing so well. I'm probably more concerned about anything in the farm bill. You know, if he starts cutting giveaways for the food subsidies, that might be what people are looking at right now on the trading side. I don't know. Anyway, so here's your numbers. July corn 441 up or down 7 cents. December corn 442 down 3.5. The July soybeans 1062 3/4 down 8.5. November soybeans 1051 1/4 down 6 1/4. July wheat 517 3/4 up 2.5, and December wheat 553 1/2 up 1 3/4. The crude oil is 62.94 up $1.38. Heating oil 214 1/2 up 3.5 cents. Gasoline 215.57 up 2 1/4 cents. Natural gas is 392 1/2 down 5 cents. Over to currencies, Canadian dollar, US dollar buys $1.39.61 Canadian, that's down 14 ticks. The dollar buys 147.79 yen, down 66 ticks. The euro's at 111.73, up 86 ticks. And the dollar is at 111.13, or I should say 101.13, down 65 ticks. Gold's at $32.55, up $27 an ounce. Silver's $32.90, up 42 cents. Platinum's $9.90.60, up 15.20, and copper's at $4.71, up 9.
All right. You have a good one, Doug. Thank you so much. Doug Klein over at Oppenheimer. Farm Service brought to you today by the folks at Freeland Bean and Grain. They've got a great selection of products from Sure Crop and Nature's, plus the advice of Vic Huffer. It'll help you increase your yields once that crop gets in the ground. You know, they've been serving you because serving you is their business, and they've been doing it since 1983. Freeland Bean and Grain. I don't know about you, but when it comes to taking a look at letters at the post office, there's one letter that just kind of sends chills up and down your body. And that's a little note from the Internal Revenue Service. Eric Sawatsky with Yo and Yo joining us right now. And Eric, some advice when you do get that audit notification.
Yeah, Terry, if that letter does come, many times it can just be a computer-generated notice that there's matching that's going on in the computer system at the IRS versus maybe documentation they've received, 1099s, other forms. So many times, if it's a notice like that, it's pretty easy to provide whatever documentation they're asking for, and that can be the end of it. If it's a full-blown audit, then my advice is to actually pull everything together, and then if you work with a CPA, have the IRS auditor meet with the CPA. They just have more experience in the questions that'll be asked and not providing more information than is needed. Definitely still not a fun process, but a lot better if you have a professional guiding you through it. So I wanted to give a couple tips too for ways to kind of prepare yourself in case that ever did happen. One is to make sure you are documenting transactions. If you have a small business, if you're a farm or a landlord or have a small business, pretty much any transaction that you have in that business entity, you should be keeping documentation, invoices, purchase orders, any other documentation you have, and just keep those in the file. Because obviously the IRS is going to ask for some of those items. And then really the biggest one is just keeping separation between business and personal. That's a big one we see a lot in small businesses, is just kind of overlap of either paying for things out of a business bank account or out of a personal account for business. And not that can't happen, but the more you can separate those, have a separate bank account in the employer identification number for the business from your personal, and keep those transactions separate. That's one of the big ones the IRS will look at right off the bat. Is if they see personal transactions in the business, they'll ask for your personal accounts and they'll just start digging. So you want to avoid that one. And same thing on vehicles. So if you have a vehicle that either you're using a company vehicle for personal use or a personal vehicle for business use, make sure you're keeping some kind of mileage log. That's probably my biggest tip there, because they're going to try and pick apart what should really be deductible for the business.
Good advice.
Yeah, just some quick tips, but I mean, it's never a fun thing when you get that letter. So that's one of the things why we always say, if you not sure what the value is in working with a CPA, many times it's when you do have to face that audit, it's a lot easier when you have someone guiding you through the process.
Well, you're right there. Eric, thank you so much for the tips. We really appreciate it. You have a great day, okay?
You too, Terry.
All righty. Eric Sawatsky with Yo and Yo Accounting. Farm Service brought to you today by the folks at Quality Roasting of Reese, offering competitive, consistent prices for your soybeans. Give them a call for a quote today. Matthew, who do we have on deck right now?
Up next, we have Jerry Samolsky from the Bay Landscaping and Garden Center in Essexville.
Hi, Jerry. How you doing today?
Boy, finally, what wonderful days we have.
Hey, I was taking a look at it. We were actually close to 2 inches below average on precipitation since January the 1st. But since March the 1st, we've actually been at the airport anyway, close to a half inch above. But we were dry for so long. So even though we're above a little bit over the last couple of months or so, we're still way behind on moisture.
Yeah, and if you take a look what we didn't get last fall, that just even makes it worse. So yeah, our deep moisture is gone. We need to make sure we get some good rains coming up. But Terry, right now is probably one of the most fun times of year. We're busy, but it's also, you take the time to take a look. I mean, the red bud are blooming, the flying crabs are coming, the cherries are out. It's just a fun time to look at things in bloom. And, and if you don't know what they are, take a picture and, come in, find out what they are. Maybe you want one. But now's the time to take that look and make note of what you might want to have in your yard.
Hey, there you go.
When they're out so beautiful. Yeah.
Jerry, thank you so much. You take care, all right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Jerry Samalski. Let's go over to New York right now. Teresa DeVoe with Baird & Company. What's going on?
Good morning. The Dow Jones Industrial Average is currently down 150 points at 42,260 with 399 million shares traded. The NASDAQ is up 303 points at 1911 with 686 million shares traded. Some stocks of local interest include Caterpillar at 354.26, up 11.58, Deere 499.14, up 352, CMS Energy 69.27, down 81, Dow 30.82, down 16, DuPont 71.01, down 26, Corteva 68.14, up 18, General Motors 50.07, up 46, Trinseo 253, down a penny, Walmart 96.12, down 62, Huntington Bank 16.13, up 20, Independent Bank 32.55, up 15, and AT&T at 26.55, down 46.
You have a great day, Teresa. Thank you so much.
Take care.
Teresa DeVoe with Baird & Company. Farm Service brought to you today by the folks at Krijak's House Family Restaurant. Food, not a problem. 989-894-5531 at Krijak's House. Back at 12:30, now we conclude with the playing of our national anthem, brought to you by Euclid Avenue Coin in Bay City.
Broadcasting from the Stormmaster Exterior Studios, WS